All right, looks like we are live and in action. Hey, thanks so much for being here, you guys. My name is Matt Latham, board certified master arborist and registered consulting arborist with the American Society of Consulting Arborists. Volume's good.
Yeah.
All right, Lucas says our volume is working. I have a nasty habit for those of you that know me by now, of forgetting to turn my microphone on, and it turns out if we're gonna talk trees, y'all probably need to hear me. So, anyways, thanks for that, Lucas. And guys, we're ready to rock and roll. We got another great episode for y'all of Ask an Arborist live Q&A, and here we are. If you haven't joined us yet, head over to the Facebook that way. I always forget. Head over to Facebook and just search for Ask an Arborist. We're the first to pop up there. We'd love to have you. You just look for this goofy little banner here. I'm sure we'll change it soon. But this is the group where you come in and you ask great tree questions about the trees you love and live around and under, and we just answer them. And it turns out there's a lot of great arborists in this group, myself included. That I'm just honored to be amongst some of the people in here. Richard Hefly, Lindsay Purcell, Guy Mayer. We've got some unbelievable arborists in this group. So glad you made it. If you haven't yet, that way, go check it out. And of course, if you haven't too, we do have a wonderful YouTube channel where we teach about this stuff. Just look up Arborist on Demand, and I'll go ahead and post it here for you. This is our YouTube channel. Guys, we just celebrated this weekend some really incredible milestones, not just here in the Ask an Arborist group, but in our Arborist on Demand group as well. We've just passed 1,000 members in our Arborist on Demand YouTube channel, and we just passed 10,000 members. This is unreal to me, guys. 10,000 members this past weekend in our, it's that way, isn't it? In our Ask an Arborist group. So glad to be a part of this community. Glad you found us here. And this is, like I said, this is where we answer your great tree questions and just help you figure out what to do with those trees you love and live under. What's up, Sprout? Glad to see you here, man. Thanks for being here. By the way, Sprout, for those of you that don't know, that's funny. For those of you that don't know, he is a high schooler that is a sprouting arborist. And man, this guy knows so much about trees already. I'm really excited for where you're going in this world. As an arborist, Sprout, keep that up and keep learning and growing. Turns out if a tree's not growing, it is unaliving, and humans are too. So keep that up, dude. Glad to have you. And if you're interested in becoming an arborist, reach out to me. Just find me on Matt Latham. Just find me over in the Ask an Arborist group and message me. I'm happy to get you started on your journey. So with that being said, let's get right into y'all's great tree questions. And we're starting off with a doozy here. This is a tragedy. Maya from wherever, I don't know where, you don't know where either, is saying, well, maybe I need to refresh. Hold on. Let's see. All right, Lucas is our first question, saying we are live. Okay, and our second question is from Maya here. She's saying, I think it's a she. Sorry if I butcher that, Maya. I have this unalive for the algorithms. Ash tree at the back of my house. It's my neighbor's tree along with 4 other unalived ash trees along the property. Does the crack of the tree indicate what direction it might fall? It has a slight lean to the left. I'm thinking that's, since the camera's opposite, left. And opposite side of the crack. Thanks. Ooh. Yeah, so Sprout can probably opine on this as well. But yeah, ash tree is unfortunately a soon to, not, I don't want to say extinct, because here's the thing. Every tree, we're seeing even American chestnut make somewhat of a comeback. That is very dangerous, Sprout. Yeah. The thing is there's a big old bad little green beetle. He's actually really beautiful, called emerald ash borer. And I'll go ahead and look it up for you. Emerald ash borer. Cute little critters. Just just a stunning green. I mean, they're absolutely beautiful. I've seen them in person, and they're cute but deadly. They really are. They are reproduced at about 300 per life cycle. So do the math on that. A couple years or a couple life cycles per year is what they equate to. And yeah, that's what I'm seeing too, Sprout. But they basically are they're wiping out trees, ash trees specifically, all throughout the United States. So if you're in an area where you have lots of ash trees, it is well worth it to go to this website right here. Oops, hold on. Almost there. I keep clicking the wrong button, y'all. To go to this website right now, check your agriculture extension, guys, because if you're in an ash tree, like forested area where you've got lots of ash trees, which is basically America for the most part, like all of it. There's a lot of ash trees. We even here in Texas, we started seeing this problem, I think 2016, 2017, and they didn't find them in traps until like a few years later. I think 2017, 2018 is when they started finding them in traps in Marshall, Texas. But we in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, we're calling it. We said, well, we're seeing all the symptoms. We're seeing the D-shaped exit wounds. We're seeing the Z-shaped galleries, the S-shaped galleries. But Maya, I'm wondering if you've got a bunch of ash trees back there. I'm wondering if that's what's going on. So if you do have emerald ash borer, or you suspect you might have it, check with your county extension there. Just click on that link and go talk to them. See if that's a big problem in your area. You want to make absolute certain, because if it is, you got a bigger problem than just one little tree potentially cracking and breaking. So here's that link, by the way. Once again, structural weakness / stress and the lean increases the likelihood of that falling that way, but it's possible for it to fall in any direction in the right wind. That is absolutely true. Charlie, once again, coming in with some hot tree facts. I love it, Charlie. Thanks for being here. He's one of our group experts, by the way. So if you see Charlie's name on there, listen to that guy. He knows his stuff. And he would tell you he's just a humble certified arborist, but he deserves to be BCMA. If you haven't done that, Charlie, go do that. You may as well. You're a really good arborist. So yes, cracked wood is an indication of current failure. Maya, if you've got that going on, if there is anything underneath that tree, you need to be aware. You need to get it removed ASAP. ASAP, not B. But Sprout brings up a good point. Barber chair. Yes. Whenever you get a split like that, barber chair, just look it up on YouTube, barber chair to tree. You'll see some absolute horror stories. So yeah, it's definitely something you want to consider, Maya. If you've got anything underneath that tree, you want to get it the heck out of there, or get the tree the heck out of there, because that is actively failing structurally. That is currently, right now, that is failing. So you got to do something about it, Maya. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news, and hope things go well for you. But yeah, look up emerald ash borer, because even, you know, let's say you get rid of that one tree. Hey, what's up, tree checkup? It's good to see you, John. I'll keep it. I'll just leave it at John. There's a million Johns in America, at least. If you're coming on here on your business page, I assume it's for anonymity purposes. What's up, Brandy? What's up? Lucas had something. Anonymity. Anonymity. Something like that. What's up, Brandy? Thanks for being here. Brandy's asking, should these smaller trees be removed? All of them? Some of them? I have no idea which, if any, were planted intentionally, but I can't imagine these all do so well, so cramped together. I don't know what any of them are. I really hate trying to mow around that area. Yeah, what you've got here is a little baby mini forest, and I love the variety. I also don't know what they are, because they don't have leaves and buds and things like that. Oh, that's awesome, man. That's great. It took me only 10 minutes to figure out how to get here. I was watching on LinkedIn. Give me feedback, tree checkup. By the way, if you're in Florida, that's your go-to guy right there. Look him up on YouTube and message him. He is he's somebody that I have deep respect for in terms of arboriculture, and that is rare. There are many of them that I have deep respect for, but there are so many more arborists that I do not have any respect for, and they need to grow up, read some books, etc., etc. But back to Brandy's question. Sorry, Brandy, little bunny trails there. Yeah, you've got some sort of spruce here. It looks like maybe, or fir. You've got it. What looks to be a a maple, maybe could be a silver or sugar maple. Could be an American elm or something similar. But then you've got these little cute little baby trees growing up too. Oh yeah, John, you got my vote all day, every day, man. You're a true professional. Um, Looks to be some voluntary trees. This could be a mulberry, maybe, and this could be what is that? What are you, aspen, birch? I don't know. What are you? Sugar maple. Thank you, Sprout. Yeah, sugar maple. Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking too. Some sort of spruce or fir. I don't get me lying. I'm from Houston. I'm from Dallas, Texas originally. Um, but here's the thing with that, Brandy, is what you're going to want to do. I love variety. And what you got going on here is a lot of variety, and that's a beautiful thing because here's the thing. If you get something like what we were talking about early, Norway spruce. Yep. Thank you, Sprout. All y'all northern folk got different trees, so I get that sometimes where people come in and they're like, well, don't you know what species it is? There are 71,000 different species of trees on this planet. So no, I don't know them all. I'm sorry. I had a friend of mine from Boston, and he memorized 1,000 scientific names, and he started rattling off. He got to at least 100 that I remember, and it was my mind is just like hurting. My brain's hurting a little bit. Because this guy knew 1,000. Well, there's 71 times that. So to expect any arborist to know them all is ridiculous. All right, so back to yours, Brandy. Here's what I would do is I wouldn't get rid of all of them. Yeah, we got red oaks and we got live oaks. We got like 3 types of red oak or live oaks here. And then mostly just red oaks. A lot of red oaks. Yep. Oh, I know a ton of scientific names. I bet you don't know 1,000 though. Like I don't know 1,000. Shoot, I still get tripped up on a lot of them. So, Brandy, what you want to do here is cleverly thin out the forest a little bit. So, like for example, here you've got 2 trees that are growing right directly next to each other. That's going to be they're going to fuse together eventually, and yeah, me neither, Sprout. Yeah, you're going to want to they're going to fuse together structurally. So you want to get rid of one of those because that's going to be a structurally weak point. What I would suggest is maybe just because of the lean, because it's a deciduous tree, is maybe taking out the front one, but also that's the most developed one. Now, moving on to this back cluster right here, you've got 3 of what appear to be the same types of trees. That is or 2 maybe with a really bad codominant lead. What I might do is get rid of these 2 that are right in here and leave the one that's by itself. Same thing here. It looks like you got 2 of the same type of tree here. I might get rid of the one closest to that Norway spruce, and that way the other one's got plenty of room to grow. But ultimately, it's your property, right? You can do what you want with it. But I love letting that forest grow and letting it become kind of a little native natural area. You've got some beautiful little lilies back there, like just a really beautiful little grove here. I might just let them grow and let them do their thing. But you definitely want to thin the herd a little bit. You've got a lot growing there, and some of them are the exact same species. So keep that variety, but maybe just get rid of 1 of each or 2 of each if you've got 3. And that way you've got kind of a little less crowding going on because they are going to all compete for nutrients. The other thing I might do too is whatever you do, don't rake up all those leaves, but expose the root flares on the trees. That's going to be really important because if you notice your spruce back here. Ooh, talk to me about this elm, John. What are you seeing that I missed? Yeah, going back, Bryony. Sorry, John's given some really good information here too. Thin the herd is a good idea, but also address the elm. It's I think it's a sugar maple. Yeah, Sprout says it's a sugar maple. I think it's a sugar maple too. But talk to me too. I want to know your thoughts, John. John, like I said, he's another BCMA RCA, one of the best in the industry, if you ask me. Humble opinion. Um, Yeah, you got another Norway spruce right next to it too, it looks like. So you got a lot of Norway spruce. This looks like it could be maybe some sort of an oak. I don't think that's right though. That doesn't seem right to me. Yeah, sugar maple. Oh, I see. Structurally. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, you're absolutely right. John, spot on once again. Tree checkup out of Florida. Great job. Great eye, John. Or tree checkup, sorry. My bad. Sugar maple, possibly hard to tell. That's where I was at with it too, John. That's It's like 71,000 species of trees. That's unreal. Okay, what he's pointing out, and this is a really important detail, Brandy, is this maple here, I believe it's a maple, has not just one, but multiple codominant leads. And you've got one primary one here and a couple secondary ones up higher. You really want, and this is where maybe a digital arborist consultation would come in real handy, and I'm happy to help with that myself, or you're happy to get, yeah, it's a good idea to get somebody on site too. You're not going to hurt my feelings either way, but you definitely need somebody to come in here and figure out what's going on with that structurally and see if you can't make some good decisions to, oh, that's cool. Oops. To start to bolster that, especially with that little barn slash shed slash garage or whatever's going on back there. You might want to consider installing some structural support systems in there. But yeah, I would just thin the herd and also watch out for that maple. The spruces look awesome. I really wish those Norway spruce grew here in Houston. They just don't. They're just too hot. Yeah, the shed was kind of what I was seeing too. So what he's saying is if one of these were to go, it's going to be the one facing us or it's going to be the one on the backside. If it goes on the backside, there's a very, very real possibility where it smashes, just destroys that shed back there. So yeah, I think you got a beautiful little property. This almost looks like Wisconsin to me. Is that Wisconsin? Like Pacific North, not Pacific Northwest, Midwest up north. But correct me if I'm wrong. I recently had a trip up to Wisconsin for a case that we were on, and oh man, it was so beautiful up there. Like I was super jealous, honestly. When I came back to Texas, I just hated my life for a minute. Anyways, hope that helps, Brandy. Sorry to ramble a little bit, but you got some great options going on there, and really a beautiful property. So just make some smart decisions, and you'll go far. Dalton, what's up, Dalton? Thanks for the question. Dalton saying top of where you at? We don't know. Oh, Alba. Let's see. Mm-hmm. Not far from me. That's right. Um, or no, excuse me, not far from where I grew up. Really. Yeah, that's right. East Texas. Okay. Awesome. Just had to get my bearings straight. Dalton, you got an awesome pecan tree. Pecan trees in East Texas do really, really well. Fire ants and gophers are not your problem. I can tell you that definitively, at least. Fire ants only aerate the soil, and gophers do the same. They'll chew on some things here and there, mostly vegetables, but I'm not worried about it damaging the roots. You can get little gopher traps, you know, if you're really worried about it, but not a huge deal. Can someone help me figure out what's going on and how I can save it? What I see here, Dalton, I see a really well manicured lawn. I see a compacted lawn, and I could be wrong. But I also see a lot of unalive back. What maybe you're doing is pruning. You mentioned that you've got all this weird growth on it. I think that weird growth is not actually weird growth. I think it's what was it? What was the term you used? Weird stuff all over it. No, those are not weird stuffs. Those are epicormic sprouts. That's the tree. Yeah, Christine nailed it. That's a stress tree that is going through a process called retrenchment. Bingo. Well done, Christine. That retrenchment is really, it's a fancy word saying tree realizes it can't support the upper canopy, so it starts pulling that canopy down to make it easier for the tree to live and grow and thrive. And I'm kind of seeing the same as you've got all this massive explosion of growth in the middle. That tells me the tree is really stressed. And you see that sometimes when guys over prune trees is they'll like a week later, it'll explode into growth because the tree needed that growth. But what I'm really wondering, Dalton, maybe you can answer this for me is I'm wondering if you're using some sort of a weed and feed type product. First of all, you got a really flush cut here. That's very bad. That's going to stress the tree out and encourage decay and things like that. You got one here that was cut a long time ago. That's sealing okay, but definitely has some sort of decay in there. And so it maybe was a little bit cut too close. Yeah, that's what I'm seeing too. There seems to be some sort of fungal pathogen and maybe some borer damage and impacting the tree, or wound response and improper pruning cuts. Yeah, flush cuts galore. Um, and the tree is responding by putting out epicormic growth. Yeah, mulch is going to be your best friend. I think what you've got here, Dalton, and I could stand very corrected, but what I want you to do is go in and take a screwdriver. And I want you to jam it into the ground and tell me if it's like really compacted. Tag me in it, please. Tell me if it's really compacted or if it's like easy to push in. But it's a great way to check whether it's time to water or not. But it's another great way to check compaction levels. If it's really tough to put in there, then you've got a compacted soil. I really wonder though, are you using any weed and feed, Dalton? Because if you're using weed and feed, that could definitely do all of these things that we're seeing as well. So definitely check into that. If you've got weed and feed, man, you got to keep that the heck away from those trees. Broadleaf unalivers, and you got a broadleaf tree. Do the math. It's just not a good combination. And I deal with we call it chemical trespassing, where you've got people spraying their lawns and it drifts over into my client's yard or whatever, and it starts unaliving their trees. So common. That's maybe like 30% of the cases that I see. But yeah, Christine's got it. Do some mulch and compost, possibly root crossing roots. Although the root flares are pretty good, Christine. I think I'm okay with those root flares. Um, it's possible. What I see is a compacted soil and possibly some herbicide damage. And man, you got to get somebody else to prune your tree if that's you making those flush cuts. Don't do that anymore. That's bad. But tree checkup, spot on. Christine's, basically saying the same thing. Mulch and compost, and that's kind of what I'm seeing. Yeah, root flare does look a little buried, but not. I don't think that's the main culprit. I think that could be maybe a secondary issue. Is you got to get a little bit there, but mulch is going to be your best friend. Think of it like this. God did it best, right? We're from Texas. I can say that, Dalton. You're my fellow Texan. God did it best. Walk into a forest. Do you see like nice landscape St. Augustine? No, you don't. That's because trees and grass don't mix. So if you want to do it right, if you want to, and really, it's going to be less yard for you to mow too. By the way, so just a little. I don't know about you, but I'm lazy but efficient, or try to be. But yeah, adding like a really big thick mulch ring is going to feed the soil, feed the microbes, and really just revamp that area. Start to decompact it, believe it or not, because when you add organic matter to the soil, those microbes start going to work. They will actually restructure the soil. We call it flocculation. All of those humates that break down. So the mulch is going to break down into compost. The compost is going to break down into humus or humates. And that's actually going to bind to the clay. If you're in East Texas, you got clay, bro. And it's going to help to just really revamp it there. So, by the way, if you need somebody from East Texas, I got a great guy for you that can help you out in person. So hit me up. But hope that helps, man. Let me give you just one little. There we go. I'm going to give you one little video that might help too. Yeah, let's go two of them. I really need to do, I do all these videos on like all this cool stuff. I really need to do one on mulch rings. Really got to do a video on mulch rings. Proper mulch ring. You got to do it right. And remember, guys, friends don't let friends mulch volcano. That's bad. There you go, Dalton. Hope that helps. I got to check the pizza, you guys. I'm smelling some things and I don't like it. My son's in charge of getting the pizza out of the oven. 1 second. Get it? Woo! Crisis averted. No fires this time.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, so earlier today I approved a post that was marketing as possible spam, but it was a guy talking about how an arborist in a different country,
Germany.
and he's and he's never seen a fruit like this.
Oh, cool. Yeah, willkommen. That's German for welcome. Yes, and Christine brings up a really good point too. I love like a really good shredded or composted hardwood mulch, but one of my favorites too is actually like a shredded cedar mulch ring, because the cedar oils is a natural anti-pest. It's gonna deter insects that could cause harm, like um, termites, if I can use words, and mosquitoes, by the way. So. Yes, yes, thank you, Sprout. Send an email about the autoblazed maple branch attachments on my Norway maple, which is struggling. Yes, you and I talked about that, and thanks again for sending that. We're going to go over that. Remind me as we get towards the end here in about 30 minutes, and we will certainly go over that, Sprout. I love it. All right, Bonnie. What's up, Bonnie? Thanks for being here. Hello. Can anyone identify what is going on with the bark of this peach tree and what needs to be done? Where you at, Bonnie? Anybody? Do we know? No idea. That's a cool looking peach tree. Wow, that's an old growth peach tree. Okay, Bonnie, the first thing I see is you got the mulch, or you got the root flares buried. That's no good. Ooh, those are borers. Yeah, Bonnie, that's not good. You got boring insects that are attacking your tree. Don't get me lying about the specific epithet. The specific. Wow, I'm a terrible. Thank you, Christine. Yeah. Thank you, Christine. Specific epithet. Thanks, Christine. I appreciate that. Yeah, Peachtree Board. That was kind of my assumption, but being a consultant, I know. I like to be conservative. I would much rather you go and contact these fine folks right here. That's going to be your agriculture extension, and having them help to identify it specifically. Specifically, that one was just for fun. So yeah, reach out to your local county extension, your local agriculture extension, and they'll be able to guide you in the right direction. But yeah, I was kind of thinking the same, John. But again, I like to be conservative and say, I don't know. That keeps me out of legal trouble too, y'all. So yeah, poor tree. Yeah, you got some borer activity going on. But let me tell you, and even in the ISA study guide, and I got to get another copy, but it says that. Ooh. Test check, microphone check. Is that better? I got to tighten it up because it's just, I push it over and then it comes right back down on me. All right. Let me know if the sound quality is terrible. Yabba dabba doo. Yeah, no, Bonnie. The first thing I see is you've got a real big issue with the root flares. Anytime you've got those root flares that are buried, you're gonna have issues with just the overall stress of the tree. Now, I say that because this is really important. At the very beginning of the ISA study guide, it says that all pests, all fungus, all of those diseases that everybody wants to just point the finger at are secondary infections and infestations. What that means is there's always, well, not always, but most of the time, there's some sort of precursor that predisposes the tree towards those pests and pathogens coming in and taking over. And a good example I like to use is, y'all remember COVID, where they said it was the immunodeficient and the elderly that were the ones that were most susceptible to COVID? There's a reason for that. It's because the immunocompromised and immunodeficient, their immune system is compromised. So the pathogen can come over and come in and just wipe things out, take over, and just have a ball with your body. We call it flu season, right? That's when everybody gets the flu, when it's like November through February or April or May or whatever, March or somewhere in there. That's when all of the majority of the illness happens across the board. I mean, but the reality of the matter, it's not so much flu season as it is overeating, over drinking, over stress season. We don't get outdoors to get the vitamin D that our bodies need, and that severely compromises our immune system. And the same exact thing goes with trees. When you've got a tree that's stressed out or compromised in some capacity, it is going to be more susceptible to pests and pathogens. Okay, John, I actually do not know that term. Mannion's decline cycle. You're gonna have to educate me and make me a better person, my friend. Talk to me about that if you got a minute. But I love that. But that's kind of what it is. The ISA study guide says calls it the mortality cycle or the mortality spiral is like one stressor leads to another, leads to another, leads to another, and next thing you know, you got an unalive tree. And I get the phone call and they're like, I don't know what happened. My tree just died overnight. And it's like, no, 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 no. There's a whole process that happened probably starting 10 years ago or more, give or take. Um, and it is what it is. And same thing with age, by the way, is we start getting old, our body starts breaking down. We have this wonderful thing in science called entropy, where everything breaks down. By the way, that just proves evolution. Enough said. But that's all I'll say about that. But yeah, entropy happens. The reality of the matter is the universe is breaking down and our bodies are no different. Same with trees. As they get older, they require more care. And yet, fungal pathogens continue to come in and start to eat away at the heartwood. You start to get things like compaction and things like that that'll impact the tree. But, John, I really want to know, or at least I'm going to look that up later on. Manion's decline cycle, because I've never actually heard that term and I really want to know. So when you say stuff, I take note. um, also I did trading pruning on my autumn blaze maple, which you will see. I love it, dude. Keep that up, man. um, if you haven't met Tree Checkup, John's another wonderful arborist, and he just does so much to further this industry. So Sprouts, by the way, he's a punk kid, like we all used to be, and he's trying to become a sprouting young arborist. So guys like John are awesome wealth, just a wealth of knowledge and resources as well. So yeah, Bonnie, I think you got borers. That's a secondary infestation. You've got buried root flares. That's going to have to be addressed. Let's see if I got some videos for you. Root flare. Root flare. And once again, John coming in with some tree facts. Um, you're gonna want to mulch that tree. Is look at the forest. God did it best. Walk into a forest. You got 6 to 12 inches of organic matter, of organic layer is what they call it. And that is all the debris falls down, and it feeds the microbes. The microbes break it down and basically give the tree everything it needs other than water. And so if you mulch, that is essentially emulating the forest floor. And so you got some borers here. You're going to want to address that. You probably won't be able to eat the peaches if you have to treat it with something, but you're probably going to want to do something like imidacloprid or permethrin, maybe, depending on what type of borer it is. That's where that conversation with the agriculture extension is going to really come in handy, because those guys know specific pathogens and pests that are attacking the area right now. But yeah, you got to do something quick. And then I'll give you the vertical mulching video as well, because that's going to be a really good one for you. If you can just take a drill and drill holes, and then and basically just backfill those holes with compost, that's going to add oxygen to the soil, organic matter to the soil, and it's really going to help the root system to grow and thrive. So hope that helps, Bonnie. We're moving on. James, what's up, James? Thanks for being here. I'll get many different answers, but here it goes. I recently removed a rose of Sharon bush due to rotting hollow material in the base. It was a very old one and the branches were weak and cracking. I would like to replace it with another rose of Sharon or some other flowering bush. I really like the way the old one bloomed. It provided some beautiful color in our yard. So any other recommendations along the same line? Question mark. Space is pretty much entirely open. It gets abundant sunshine. Soil is a bit on the sandy side, which is usually good. John might disagree. What's up, buddy? That's a great question. I don't do a lot of production tree care, Logan. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I just don't do a lot of production tree care. But man, I love that you're wanting to come to the U.S. and And maybe send me a message. Go to our Facebook group and just find me. I'm one of the admins. And just shoot me a message and let me know. I'll connect you with a guy whose name is Neville, and he actually works for the company called Bartlett, which you've probably heard of because they got Bartlett in the UK. But we might be able to hook you up. So just because I won't be able to. I won't be able to help you out personally, just because we don't do a lot. I contract all my work out anyways. So, but I'd love to connect you with people that will. And I know like the Texas area, but realistically, man, there's so many guys in the U.S. that would love to have a guy with a cool accent like you come in here and help them out. It's good for promotion, if nothing else, like doing videos and stuff. I'm like, what's up? We got Logan from the UK over here. So there's a lot of guys that I'm sure would be able to take you on. Probably on a contract basis, but yeah, I'm sure you can find a job too. So, anyway, sorry, James, I'm bunny trailing. Central PA is the location, Pennsylvania. That's not physician's assistant. Situated, I prefer something not too tall, 10 to 15 foot max. And as I'm planting it entirely for the flowers, I'm wanting as long of a flowering season as I can get. What comes to mind? Crepe myrtles sometimes are okay. There's some varieties that stay pretty small. They're not native though. They're technically invasive. I do like Rosa Sharons. They're great trees. I mean, and they do really well there. If you want color without flowers, Japanese maple does really well in Pennsylvania. That soil y'all have there is just unbelievably loaded with minerals, and that might be a good option. I don't know. Let's see what everybody else is saying, because I'm sure you got some great options there. I'm from Houston too. What zone? Consider a native to PA. Man, that's a really good point. Let me give you the ag extension there. Just click on Pennsylvania. Just go to this website and click on the Pennsylvania link. That'll send you to theirs. Ooh, chokeberry. That's a great idea. Viburnum, Carolina allspice, spice bush, bottle brush buckeye. I don't know that one at all. Beautyberry's cool. Dogwoods are unbelievably beautiful, and they do really well up there without the heat that we have here. Natives don't get fertilizer and watering because they've been here for thousands of years, supposedly. Some of them hundreds. Define native. That's yeah. Lilacs, butterfly bush might do well. I don't know if the Texas lilac wouldn't do well there because it's they prefer like a lot of sunlight, a lot of heat too. Sonic Bloom blooms all winter, all summer. One that I love, but haven't been able to locate any more of them. Here are two I propagated. What is that? The propagate bushes for the older ones by cutting a pencil size. Oh yeah, that's a good idea. Just take your Rose of Sharon and propagate. But you're talking years in the future before you really get the benefits that you had before. So bottle brush buckeye, yeah, I really love that one. Bottle brush does bottle, and I may be thinking of a different one. Oh, I love that crab apple. Oh, brilliant tree checkup. Oh man, that because they make like kind of dwarf varieties of crab apples that will stay really compact. It'll stay like 10, 15 feet tall, and you're gonna get like some of the most unbelievable blooms, especially in the springtime. Peach and plum trees often will give you some really nice flowers too, but they're gonna be a little shorter lived. Uh, yeah, yeah, the plants that God put in the area and the ones which started invading. That's right. Define native. That's a heck of a term. Native is like, well, shoot, it's been changing for, pretty much thousands of years. It goes up and it goes down. Okay, yeah, that's a good point too. They do have real big problems with that fungus, apple scab. But yeah, there's some great options for you, James. Hope you find the right one, man. Hey, do me a favor too. If you do find something amazing, post a picture here, man. Give us some follow up, and obviously link your original post. But man, we'd love to hear about it. I'd love to see what you decided on, or you can just post it right here in the comments. Tag me in it. Hope that helps, James. We are moving on. What's up, Curtis? Curtis got where you from? Colorado, maybe. We've got 5 acres, and that is beautiful 5 acres. It's not a matter of it being a native plant or not. Start with the soil. Is the soil native? That's a real good question, a real good point, because we're seeing like, man, honestly, Mexican white oak. I was opposed to it because it's non-native here in the South Texas region. But man, it's proven itself. We got Montezuma cypress, which is technically non-native, that does really, really, really well here. And you got various red oaks and like coast live oaks that are non-native that people just started planting years and years ago, and they're integrated. And then you get more true native ones like slash pines and loblolly pines and Wisachi and if you're in like central Texas, you got like mesquite trees and things like that. So there's a lot of options. I would say one that is more adapted and acclimatized to your region is more important than finding a native. But start with native. Just hit up your agriculture extension and they'll start pointing you in the right direction, James. So all right. Sorry, Curtis, got distracted there. We got 5 acres. I've lost a lot of trees. I have a few issues of unsure what is going on, what the problem is. There were established trees, and the trees right next to them are healthy. So you got what looks to be cedar, could be arborvitae, maybe. Yeah, I love mesquite trees. They're really beautiful trees. A lot of people think they're not, but they are. So, Curtis, I'm seeing some buried root flares here. I'm seeing this has got some maybe mechanical damage that started there. Looks like a pine with Zimmerman moth damage. I've seen the Scottish pine. Yeah, that could totally be it. But I don't see any actual borer exit wounds there. Oh, yeah, I do. Okay, yeah. That's a borer. Borer. 23 years doing this, I still can't say that word. I think it's funny. That's a really good point, Dale. Yeah, you get something attacking it. Yeah, that's arborvitae kind of is what I was leaning towards. I don't know. I like arborvitae. I really want to like arborvitae. Leyland cypress has ceridium canker out the wazoo. Yeah, that's arborvitae. That's not cedar. You're right. You're absolutely right. If it is cypress, I'd be willing to bet money it's probably that ceridium canker. Not a lot of money, just enough. Yeah, if it is ceridium canker, you got to let the soil dry out, and you got to pump it full of nitrogen too to outgrow the canker, the pathogen. This is a pine. That's totally different. Pine trees are not going to get ceridium canker. There are some holes. Yeah, I see borer damage. I think Dale's spot on the borers. Which specifically? Oh, that's so cool. I gotta add a friend. Former manager at City of Milwaukee. That's so cool. Why is it that Milwaukee loves hanging out with us? Tell me, Sprout. You know about. By the way, man, we have been praying for you guys. Y'all got flooded like crazy. Yeah, spider mice are a pain. Other irrigation on that side. Look at that one. Yeah, I'm wondering if it's like over irrigated, maybe. You definitely got buried root flares. That's going to be problem number one. You got to resolve. You got to get those root flares unburied. That's going to be super, super critically important. Yeah, I would be willing to bet money that buried root flares, you say they're mature, but those are pretty, yeah, or established, I think is the term you use. But they're really buried. And I don't think, I wonder if you've got like kind of a systemic situation in the soil with it being compacted. Usually when you're having trouble growing grass and you get a lot of weeds growing like you are, that's generally an indication of some bad soil conditions. But it's not the worst. I mean, it just means that everybody calls weeds like weeds, but I think they're mechanics. I think that the more I learn about this stuff, the more I'm realizing that each one of them has a specific purpose, and they really do some cool things. A lot of them boost nitrogen levels in the soil. A lot of them actually pull calcium up from the lower levels. Calcium's real heavy and it sinks to the bottom. But some of those weeds with the big stalks, if you cut them open like in a slash, kind of like at an angle, a lot of times you'll see little white flecks in them, and that's actually calcium. And you can check it. I dare you. But yeah, I'm wondering about the irrigation too. What I definitely do, Curtis, is you're gonna want to find a good arborist group or go to chipdrop.com, and you're gonna want to get some free chips dropped, because that's gonna be really important to Just recreating that forest floor. You want to do that all around that area. And then this one. Yeah, hope that helps. Sorry you're dealing with that. That stinks because I'm sure you spent some good money getting those quite a bit of trees in there. Yes, here's my German buddy. What's up, Mark? I'm a professional arborist that lives and works in Germany, Europe. It's very interesting for me to be in this group and learning about the trees you have in the U.S. that I've never seen or don't grow here in Europe. But most of them, or a lot of them anyways, could. That's the fun thing about this. But like, you never know which one's going to become invasive, which one's going to be integrated. That's only what we only learned that in 20 years. All right, so saying I saw a post about how people prune trees, and I wanted to show you our pruning. This is a job we did 3 weeks ago, pruning an old horse chestnut. We reduced the branches growing over the house and also rubbing branches and thinned it out a little. Mark, this is good arboriculture, bro. Look at that reduction cut. Look at, you can't even tell. Somebody said like the difference between hiring a quality arborist to take care of your trees and hiring just a landscaper, some hack job, is it's kind of like when you go to Great Clips. And I know, Mark, you probably don't have Great Clips across the pond. But Great Clips here in the U.S., they charge $10 for a man's haircut. And by the way, when you walk out of there, you can tell that you had a haircut. Like, it looks like you just got your hairs trimmed.
Oh, yeah, this is the one that.
Yep. I think it's okay because what we're showing, this is a really great example of very, very, very good arboriculture. And by the way, Mark, I know your standards there across the pond. I know y'all got some amazing tree care standards, and I believe y'all require licensing too to do tree care. And so that means that you're required by law to get at least a base level education. And I love that name, Fresh Stuff for Wild Tree Folks. I hope that's your company name. That's such a cool. But y'all, look at these reduction cuts. Every single one of them, you've got a good solid lead that the tree can grow and become the dominant lead. And like, look at that. That's so beautiful. You can't even tell. Like, have you ladies, especially you ladies, have you ever gone to Great Clips and been like, ooh, that's terrible? And then gone and spent like $150 at a professional salon and they just did it different and you can't tell. You just look amazing. That's kind of like the difference between hiring a hack job to do your trees and hiring a professional arborist that really knows and understands your trees. And so it's really important to get the right ones out there because look at that. Oh, Christine, if you're still here, you mentioned the word retrenchment. This is the artificial version, and this is exactly what, when I'm looking at a tree that I'm worried about it breaking in the next storm, this is exactly what I can do. Mark, thank you, thank you, thank you. You are a true professional. I know you know at least the pruning side of this, and well done, bro. That's good quality pruning right there. At least if that was the goal. If it wasn't, maybe you need to redefine your objectives, your pruning objectives, but everything I'm seeing is just top quality arboriculture. And you can't even tell that you were there. Look at all that brush. How'd you accumulate that brush on a tree that seemingly wasn't pruned at all? Look at that. You can't even tell. It's exactly what good pruning looks like. I love it, man. I love it. Well done. Yeah, and if you are marketing, don't do that. Oh, questionable. But I'll let it slide. I'll let it slide because that's a really good example of a wonderful pruning job on an old horse chestnut. And man, keep that up, dude. Keep that up and teach. Yeah, I think it's good. And Christine says it right there. It's so lovely. It really is. That's a beautiful prune job. A few shots of today's work. We did crown care on this beautiful horse chestnut on a busy main road. We lift up the crown over the road so big lorries can pass. I don't know what lorries are, but that's fun. Can pass safely underneath. Yeah. Yeah, this is what we deal with is heartbreak here in America, Mark. If you can come over here and teach us Americans how to do things, that would be really great. We're really bad at tree care, in my humble opinion. Also, I try to be different, and I try to teach different. All right, Paul. Hey, look at this, Lucas. We're like 8 hours into it. Usually, we only get like 3 to 5 hours into our live stream. Uh,
we're gonna do well.
we're doing great. Yeah, this is awesome. Paul, thanks for the question. Young Rowan, Sorbus, Alcuparia. I don't know that one. This tree is of sentimental value and planted in a south-facing garden in Aberdeenshire, northeast Scotland. What's up from all the way halfway around the world? Thanks for being here, Paul. I was hoping for some advice regarding pruning to ensure healthy and vigorous growth. Vigorous is good, but over vigorous is bad. You don't want too much growth, actually. The first thing I see is I'm wondering about those root flares. I don't like the rocks around there, but it definitely keeps all those other critters, all those other plants from growing in and taking over. So that's good. It saves you on a little maintenance there. The weed guard, the guards around the base, I don't think it's necessary. Enema voice, no rocks. Yep. Yeah, those rocks are, it's not a huge deal. Just those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 7 rocks. But as the tree grows, you're going to have to move that out. You're going to have to adjust it accordingly. And really, mulch is better. And it looks like you've maybe got some compost or mulch down there. So that's good. But watch those root flares. I really wonder. Oops, why is it blue? How did I do that? Okay, there we go. But what I would say is focus on the roots. Don't prune the tree right now. If you do, maybe a few reduction prunes on like this one right here. You could tell it's kind of out competing this main. That's going to be your primary lead right there. At least for now. You can change that over time. I wouldn't though. I would leave it just as is, and I would reduce this one branch back, just that one that's on the very top, because it's competing for what we call apical dominance. Apical dominance is basically like the tree's main stem. That's what it wants to do. Is it wants to be a triangle. Most trees, anyways. Some of them want to be columns. Some of them want to be like ovals. Some of them want to be like really wide and flat. But yeah, the main thing here is you've got competing dominance. We would consider that maybe a soon to be co-dominant lead. Maybe soon. Not right now, but this branch should be shorter than this branch. So reduce that back to a good lateral branch. That'll stunt the growth and force the tree to push resources into that main branch. The true apical dominant lead. I would definitely take all those restricting things away, any type of tags or rope or those little plastic wraps that are on it. You got to take that away. I would go ahead and pull this stake out too, if you're not worried about, like, if you're in, I don't know about Scotland, but here in the Gulf Coast, we got to worry about hurricanes coming in. So sometimes it's okay to leave a little bit or do a temporary staking job if you got a hurricane coming in. But for the most part, you want that tree to move and sway in the wind, because what happens, think of it like putting a kid in a wheelchair and then asking him to run a marathon later on, is his muscles have atrophied. And the same thing happens with the trees as they move in the wind. Doesn't matter if it's a rowan, which I don't know, or a live oak, which I know a lot about. As they're moving, all of those fibers are breaking down on a cellular level, and that forces the tree to push resources into it. We call it reaction wood, and on pruning wounds, we call it callus wood. And so that reaction tissue, look at the root flares. That's what that is, those buttress roots. If you think of like medieval architecture, you get these castles and they have these big buttresses. Well, where do you think they got that idea? They looked at God's creation and they realized, hey, some extra support at the base there adds a lot of structural support, just a little bit. And so as the tree moves, all of that energy is transferred down to the root flares, transferred down to the roots. And that's why they get those big forming root flares that flare out real big. At the base of large limbs, you'll notice too, they're usually really fat on the bottom and the top and not as wide on the outside, on the edges. Or on the sides rather. And the reason that is because all that pressure is pushing down, so the tree's having to reinforce it and push it back up and reinforce it and hold it back up. And so same thing happens here. Whenever you've got those straps around it, it's just going to stunt the growth. You want that tree to move as much as possible, because when it really matters, when you get the big storm that comes in, that's when it's going to be the test of whether the tree was strong enough to survive it. Take that stuff away from there. Just prune the stuff away periodically. Get you a good pair of Felco hand snips or something. I don't know what if they make a comparable one in Scotland there, Paul. But yeah, definitely get all the brush away. Keep it away so it airs out. Make sure your root flares are big and bold and gaudy. You want those to flare out really big, and that's really important for development. So hope that helps. Moving on. Roger, what's up, Roger? Roger's saying, I don't know where you're from. I have this big, beautiful hickory tree, and this year the top half isn't leafing out as fully as the bottom half. Should I be worried? Is there anything I can do? Ignore the tree in the foreground. It unalived last year. Okay. Oh, wow. That is a hickory, isn't it? Doesn't look like it. You know, Roger, I'm going to have to ask for more pictures. I need a picture of the root flare, and I need some close-up pictures of the leaves, both in the canopy, in the upper canopy, and in the lower canopy. I don't know. There's a million. No, not a million. At least 789 things that this could be. At least that. It's obviously stressed. And again, brilliant Christine brought up retrenchment. Retrenchment is this fancy thing where trees start to pull their canopy down. They'll actually unalive in the upper canopy because y'all know about gravity, right? We learned about that in hike school. Well, it turns out gravity fights water that the trees trying to pull up. In fact, y'all know those, it co-dominated a little bit up in the upper canopy, but I don't think that's why it is unaliving back and starting to just thin out in the upper canopy. It could be borers, it could be fungus, it could be a girdling root, it could be compacted soil, it could be a number of things, Roger. And if you want, I'm happy to get on a digital arborist consultation with you too. Here's the link for that. But I don't know is the right answer. I really need more information because I don't know. There's some type of a root issue. Yeah, and that's what we're gonna have to figure out is what type of a root issue. Sherry Fabricant Wood is right spot on. What's up from the Big D, Sherry? That's Dallas, by the way. Not to get weird, but what's up from Dallas? That was my old stomping grounds, by the way. I grew up in Dallas, Fort Worth area, and yeah, I'm glad I moved. Nothing against Dallas, nothing against Texas in general. Houston is our next place that we're moving from, so it's not paradise here either. But yeah, it's some sort of stressor that's causing the tree to retrench. Yes, yes, Sprout. I was actually going to get to yours. Maybe do one more and then we'll get to yours. Okay. Freezing. That's speculation. There's no evidence of that. I had that happen to a maple. The neighbor liked seeing its fall cover, which has been watching every year since it's been the same. The bark took on the black hue. A large branch is unalive this year. The neighbor moved last month. Sad. It's time has passed. 10 years ago, I ran an electric line around 12 feet underground, about 40 feet away, 12 inches underground. No heavy equipment, just a small ditch witch. Yeah, but 40 feet away probably is fine, Nancy. I don't think that's the issue. I imagine it's a lot of other things. But Roger, I think with yours, you've got some sort of stress going on. We got to figure out what it is. I do notice you've got a lot of trees here and no mulch. You do have maybe what looks like some pine straw or something there, but I don't see any pines either. So I could be just speculating. That could be just the dirt color. Not a good picture. So you've got the link to the Arborist expert digital Arborist consultation. Happy to hop online and take a look at it in person. Or, you can find a local guy. Look up treesaregood.org or aska-consultants.org and find a true professional. I don't know what that means, but let's take one more, and then we're going to get to Sprout's question. You had emailed me. There be dragons. What? What? This is a very poor pruning wound, both on the top and the bottom. So if you're referring to bad arborists as dragons, I respectfully agree. They took a bite out of that. Yeah. Little Sprout's doing the best they can. There's a random tree they found on a walk. Maybe. We don't know that. Bad cuts 99% of the time produce sprouts. You took too much from the tree at once or it was already stressed. I agree. Big leaf linden. I don't know. Tilia cordata. Wow, that's specific. I love it. Yeah, I don't know what that means, Richard. Um, who are you? What are you about? We don't know. Allegheny. That New York? That's a pruning wound. Yes, that is a pruning wound. I see that kind of a pruning wound on Bradford pears and Callery pears all the time. But yeah, that's a bad pruning wound. Y'all, I just did a video the other day about why trees sometimes produce those crazy sprouts in and around bad damage or pruning wounds. And let me just send you the link to that because this is really fascinating stuff. This is when you really get down to it. This is like tree biology. Why do trees do what they do? And I'm wondering if that bad pruning wound was made and the tree is just desperately trying to seal the wound. Desperately. Um, and that's why it produces those big sprouts. Whatever you do, you can prune them like you've done in the past, but leave as many of them as possible because all those sprouts are going to start producing the carbohydrates and the photosynthates that the tree needs to repair that wound. So leave it alone, let those sprouts grow wild, and say some prayers because whoever did that, they did a bad job. You might want to have a good solid arborist that comes in and can reprune that at least on the top. I wouldn't prune any more on the bottom for sure. That's nasty. That's nasty. Whoever did that has no idea what they're doing. And if it was you, I'm sorry, Roger. I don't, or Richard rather. I just talked to Roger. I'm sorry, Richard. I don't mean to be offensive, but yeah, there be dragons. That's it. That's gonna be a new catchphrase of mine. All right, so let me see if I can find Sprout. You sent that to me yesterday. Let's see if I can find Sprouts. There we go. No, you sent it today. That's right. We talked about this. My internet broke.
Uh, it's a little back for me, but I can't.
Moving and shaking.
It's a, it's a thing.
I'm really glad for that delay because that helps me to.
Uh,
Yeah. Well, I know in like live TV too, there's like a 30-second delay typically, and they got like a whole team of people that edit things in and out of it whenever
Mostly
they.
it's like a minute
Yeah.
to 2 minutes. I don't think it could be long. All I know is the Oscars had a chance to lean out characteristic groups where they blurred out. They blurred out all these other words, but they didn't blur
Oops.
out one. Something it's a slur.
John, if you don't know him, you need to know him. His name is treelimbjim@gmail.com. But Jim Dunlap's a great guy. He was the SMU arborist, and I know his brother Tom is a used to be anyways. I think he's kind of laying low these days. But what mic am I using? Not a good one apparently. It's a Logic. What is that? Steel Series Alias. Nothing fancy. Every time you turn around. Yeah, Tom. Okay, so his brother, Jim, was telling me the same thing the other day. He's like, "Yeah, it's great, but every time you turn to write things down on the board, you know what? Maybe I should do is do like a lapel mic instead. Maybe that would be better. I don't know if I do like Bluetooth if that would mess it up any, but." All right, so Sprout's saying, here are the pictures of how I'm accomplishing my better branch attachment on my Autumn Blaze maple. By the way, Autumn Blaze is notorious for horrid branch attachments. Yeah, they are. October Glory is not much better, but it's significantly better. Also, I included some pictures of my Norway maple, which has been struggling since I planted it. I did expose the root flares, but it has some leaf problems that really show itself in the summer last year. In previous years, I did break off a headset mic. That's a good idea, Christine. Yeah, I'll look into that. I gotta wait till these people pay me. I got people that owe me a lot of money. Story of my life, by the way. That is what it is. I did expose the root flare. In previous years, I did break off vigorous lower sprouts, but I've learned that was a horrible choice. Yeah, leave them if you can. And a Samsung Q9U. Wow, that Samsung is a That's the strongest name in ropes, isn't it? He also took a donkey's jaw and like unalived a bunch of people that were capturing him. Um, Different story though. If you do see the scar on the lower trunk, that is from my brother who accidentally hit it with a weed whacker. Yeah, that's so rude. 2 years ago, and the tree is compartmentalizing very well. That's all I do believe. Also, I hope all the photos send. There may be duplicates because Gmail is being goofy. Yeah, Google is goofy indeed. That's an autumn blade. That looks almost like a sycamore leaf. I was just thinking about that, John. I really got to get a better boom mic, boom thingy. This is like a cheap Amazon junk. Chinese special. Oh, it is a autumn blaze. Look at that. Yeah, you get some foliar fungus. Ooh, what is that? Oh, okay. I was like, that's autumn blaze? It looks different. Okay, that makes more sense. Yeah, you definitely got some vascular wilt stuff going on there. Some fungal pathogens. By the way, Sprout, you were like one of the few that commented, so you're getting this beautiful bottle of juice,
Yeah.
liquid.
Street Check recommended a I'll put the link on the chat.
Yeah,
He recommended a
yeah, definitely some foliar fungus there, but it looks like it's extending into the branches too, from what I'm seeing. Yeah, something's going on right there. Yeah, yeah, I got you, dude. It's all yours. Uh-oh, what'd I do here? Oh, sweet. Yeah, that's Norway. That's not Autumn Blaze. Oh, where'd it go? Bro, for whatever reason, my computer just does not like your tree. Yeah, all the children on their games, mine included. Oh wow, Sprout, that's a really good structure actually. I really like that. I don't know why you're. Oh, that's what we were talking about. How you got the okay. Dude, I love that. That's what we were talking about. So Sprout and I were talking about kind of like bonsai techniques that will. Yes, I recognize that one. Yeah, we'll get into contact, man, and I'll send it to you. Um, but yes, the I want you to try this and tell me how it goes too. It's really good stuff. Yeah, the Logitech Brio is the one I've got. Same exact camera. It's a really great camera. I really like that one. It's cheap too. It's like $100. Ooh, bonsai. Yeah, so this is super cool. Sprout and I were talking about using kind of bonsai techniques to form and shape the branches. And like there's geotropic growth and there's phototropic growth are the two primary types of growth. And then I don't know what you call it, but like maybe wind tropic growth. I don't know if that's a word. So yeah, watch out for the rope. But you won't need to do that for more than like 6 months or a year, Sprout. It should be okay. But I love that. He's got kind of a weaker, narrow branch union here, but he's training the tree to have a really nice, even canopy. That is beautiful, man. I really like it, and I want to know how that works because, I mean, we all know bonsai, right? All of us arborists know bonsai. It works. Like it's just a thing that people do. You can train the tree to be pretty much anything and grow however you want it to. And I'm wondering if maybe that is kind of similar. Good job on the root flares. I love it. And you kept that one on top too. That's not technically a true root flare. That is a an anomaly that it basically happened because the soil was too high on the tree. But trees are great survivors, and you could see it became a root flare. Give it 10 years, you won't notice that. It'll be gone. Uh-oh. I hate that button. Oh, morphogenesis. You're right. You're right. Ah, that's why you're the best, John. Morphogenesis is like, that's like, oh man, it's so cool. That's a whole other field of study too. That's why you're the best, John. I love it. Thanks for hanging out with me too, by the way. It's great to see you here, buddy. Whoa, what in the freak of nature is going on here? That's crazy. Look at that damage. Is that the one you're telling me about, the weed whacker incident, Sprout? Yeah, yeah, let's catch up, man. You got my number. Call me anytime, buddy. Doesn't mean I'm able to answer, but I'll definitely call you back. Wow. Okay, that's the weed whacker. Yep. Okay. And that's on the Autumn Blaze? Norway. Okay. Okay, the Norway was the one that got smashed. Yeah, it looks like it's got good growth. Leave that sprout. Leave that sprout that's coming out. That the little epicormic. That's going to be really important to leave that one because those leaves are going to pump carbohydrates and photosynthase. That's the video I just posted. Oops, my bad. That's the video I just posted about where the tree's like the ultimate survivor and it's pumping like glucose and carbohydrates and photosynthase right into that area where it needs it, and that increases the rate of compartmentalization. So that's really important. Leave those sprouts. You know that though. Yeah, that video is very interesting. Isn't that fun? You see these things out in the field and you're like, that's God's design right there. That's cool. You know, that's cool genetic programming. So, dude, I love it, man. That's a super cool little bonsai autumn blaze maple. And obviously it's not bonsai'd forever. You got a good strong central lead. I might not have taken quite as much on that one, but I'm good with it. The tree can seal that over time. That's not a big deal. But well done, Sprout. This is why you are going many places in life when it comes to trees. And man, it's fun to watch you learn and grow. Yeah, Norway. Is that the one that was clipped, I guess? Yeah. Yeah, he's struggling for sure. Use this Microlife Liquid AF. I'm gonna send it to you. And we'll be in touch. There wasn't much on the top, so I caught it early in the autumn blaze maple. Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Because you can train them like that, and I like that you're developing that good pyramidal form. That is exactly what trees prefer to be grown like. Oh, dang it. I always click that button. So one thing we talk about quite a bit here too is whenever you've got a tree, it generally speaking, and there's exceptions, like live oaks are a great exception. Generally speaking, the perfect tree, that's not a thing. There's no such thing. But if there was such a thing, it would basically look like a pyramid, or cone shaped is maybe more appropriate. Cone shaped tree. Because a cone shaped tree is going to have good tapers. So that's a strong structure. If you notice, pyramids have been around for thousands of years. There's a reason for that. It's a good, solid, strong structure. Whereas if you get, yeah, Christmas tree is kind of the idea. That's exactly right. So, but I think you're going in the right direction, Sprout. Well done, man. That's a beautiful structure, beautiful form, and great arboriculture, man. Like I said, I'm super excited to see where you're going in this tree care world. Because man, keep it up. You're gonna be better than most arborists I know that are my age that have been doing this for decades. I mean, give it 5-10 years, you'll be like well beyond all of your peers, all of them, except maybe John and myself, of course. Yes. Anyways, that's all we have for today, folks. Thanks again for joining me. And again, congratulations, Sprout, for joining. By the way, we got a few more bottles, 2 more to be exact. One of the Ocean Harvest and one of the Microlife Soil and Plant Energy. This is basically humic acid and fulvic acid, as well as molasses. This is like seaweed extract, fish emulsion, rock phosphates, all different kinds. Again, humic acid, molasses, fulvic acid. This is um, a really good like jump start if you've got. They call it. Hey, later, John. Thanks for being here, buddy. They call it Lazarus juice. I have taken trees from the grave and back with this stuff right here. Soil and plant energy is great. If you haven't yet, go check out our live stream. Go check out our live stream from Saturday. We were giving away a bottle, and all you got to do is comment trees on that post, and you'll be entered to win. But our grand prize was Sprout because he was first. You're gonna get this liquid AF because you need it clearly for that Norway maple. So thanks again, you guys, for being here. Again, if you have it in you, please hit that like button. That really helps to push it out to the algorithms. By the way, y'all, check it out. We're growing like weeds over here. 1,026 subscribers. We hit that mark, that 1,000-person mark over the weekend, and we are just growing and growing and growing. And every time y'all hit that like button, that really helps to continue that growth process. We want to make sure that plenty of people get the right information to care for the green pets that they love and live under. So thanks again for being here, you guys. We'll be back at it Thursday, Lord willing.
Before you end it,
What's that?
before you end it, did you click on the link that I put on the chat so you can have that tree checked up and send you?
No, let me do that. I couldn't, for whatever reason, I couldn't click that link. But you've got the link, right? You can copy and send it to me.
Yeah, so basically, we're talking about gave suggestion with these.
Yeah, I'm taking a picture of it too. Awesome. So y'all continue with the great tree questions. We will see y'all next Thursday or this Thursday. Thanks again for being here. Love you guys, and we'll see ya.